Hello everyone, I'm Mary from Athena's Bibliotheca, and I have my journal out, which means that it is time for my monthly wrap-up, and this is the wrap-up for March. I don't think it's going to be that long of a wrap-up because I didn't read that many books. I ended up reading 3 books in the month of March. Better than none, I guess. I also had some books that I didn't fully finish, and one of them I'm debating still after me not having picked it up for like a couple weeks now, whether or not I want to DNF it, because I was super excited about it, so I don't want to give up on it, but it's up for debate still. If you want to know what won, in March's TBR video, I said it was the book I was most excited for, so there's that. But let's get started with the books. Actually, let's get started with the cover page first before we get to the books that I've actually read in March. If this is the first journal video you watch from me, I will let you know. I always do a cover page for each of the months, and I do the collage based off of some character in some media that I enjoy. And the character I've chosen is Danny Fenton from Danny Phantom, which is a show I really enjoyed. Still do, actually. It's a great show. Well, cartoon. These are the pictures I chose for it. So let's get started making the March cover spread. So that is the March cover page done. I really enjoy how it turned out, but I will admit this picture specifically makes me think Jack Frost, not necessarily Danny Fenton, but it's too late now to back down. So the first book I read in March is actually pretty popular. I hear it being talked about a lot, which is how I found out about it, and that is Butcher and Blackbird by Bren Weaver. I loved this story. It was such a fun time. I loved how obsessed Rowan got instantly upon seeing Sloane. It was pretty instantly. It was just so fun to see their banter with each other, and their little game they played was fun to watch happen, which is an interesting thing to say when you're talking about 2 serial killers playing a game to see who can kill a person faster. So I'm going to show you the pictures, and then we're going to get this journal spread started. So that's the spread I have for Butcher and Blackbird, and I really like this one. Next, I read one of the Avatar: The Last Airbender comic books in Smoke and Shadow. It was fun to get back into this world a little bit more. It was also interesting to dive a little deeper into Fire Nation lore that we got in here. Could I have done without the weird love triangle between Zuko, May, and this random person that we barely know? Yes, I could have. But I still had a fun time, and I love Aang and getting to see him do what he does best. So I'm going to show you the pictures I chose and then get started on making the spread. And that's the finished spread for the second book I read in March. So now let's go to the third and final book I read in March. And that book is Frieren Beyond Journey's End, Volume 10. If you don't know, I have a slight obsession with Frieren, and this latest volume was no exception. I adored this volume. It was so much fun. I will say that I was slightly hesitant about how I was going to enjoy this one, because if you don't know, they sometimes have flashbacks in this series, and when they do, they usually make the background all black, so you know it's a flashback. And you can tell just by looking at the edges of volume 10 that half of it was going to be flashbacks. I wouldn't have been as unsure if I knew it was going to be Frieren's past memories, but I knew it wasn't going to be. I knew it was going to be this character we met in volume 9. And I wasn't sure how I'd feel about getting so much background information on this new character, but I should not have doubted Frieren because I adored it so much. It does, though, have the negative of being caught up in a manga, though, because it ends on a cliffhanger of sorts, and I just want to know what happens next. I know they're going to be perfectly fine in the end, because that's just the type of story this is, but I just want to see Frieren get them out of the mess they're in at the moment when this volume ends. So I am indeed highly anticipating volume 11. So I'm going to show you the pictures that I've chosen and then get started on finishing this spread. So that is the final spread for the books I read in March. I really did enjoy all the books that I read in March, so I count that as a win. I do hope, though, that I can read more in April, especially with the length my TBR ended up being. Well, that's all I have for you today, though. So I hope you had fun watching this, because I had fun making it, and I hope to see you next week, but I make no promises. Bye!